Luke's trailer, he had it on this little patch of grass, and he's an avid golf player, right? So then right when I go back, and it literally just cuts the tree line, and I slice it, and then he looks at me, he's like, next time bring your own balls. And I was like,
thank you all so much for joining us. This is the Arroyo Show. If it's your first time here, please give it a thumbs up and a subscribe. What a guest we have for you today. You can see him portraying the role of Mike Dugan in the DC superhero show STARGIRL, airing now on the CW. Welcome to the show, TRAE Romano. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me on the show.
Hey, man, thank you so much for giving us some of your time today. You're currently mid-season for season 1 of STARGIRL. When did you first hear about this program, and what do you remember from when you got the call that you were officially booked to play this role?
Well, I remember I was at dinner with my family, right? So I don't know what it was, but my mom got a phone call. So I was like, who's on the phone? She's like, I don't know, right? So she goes in the bathroom, and it's Jeff Johns, the show creator. And I'm like, it's like, who's it? She's like, well, there's the show that's called STARGIRL. You auditioned for it I auditioned for it for like 4 months ago, and we're at dinner, and she's like, there's a show that you got, it's called STARGIRL, and the show creator Jeff Johns just called. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. So when I went home, I called him up, and we just talked, and he was just such a nice guy, and just he kind of went over what was going to happen with my character through the series, and just sounded really promising. Because when I initially auditioned for it, the first scene that I auditioned with that they gave me was just like this really comedic like scene, like from like almost like a sitcom. And then the next scene after that was actually this past scene in episode 8 with Breck. So it was these two like there was one really funny scene, this one really emotional scene. So it was really just a multifaceted show, which was really kind of cool. But yeah, it was just really spur of the moment. It was like 4 or 5 months before I actually got the call, and it was just out of nowhere. So
I think it's amazing, especially for individuals that aren't necessarily in the business, to hear just how long the process takes to go from that first audition to when something like this actually happens. For you, is it something like, when you do that first audition, you kind of just want to move on to the next one because there's so much time you don't want to be dwelling on it the entire time? Did you get the part? Did you not get the part?
Definitely, because that was a pretty busy time too. It was coming right out of like episodic season or something like that, and I just gotten off kind of like this kind of cycle for this movie. I was kind of in the mix for like 8 months. It was a really weird situation, but like the directors and the director and the writers, we were all, we were super friendly. We were going to like lunch and everything happened, blah, but it ended up not happening. And I was coming off this really like cool movie thing that I could have been doing. And I was like, you know what, this is crazy. And then I had a few more auditions. I had that STARGIRL audition, one of like many in like a week, right? And then it was like all dry throughout winter, and then I just got the call, and it was just like out of nowhere. And so many things have happened like that, like my friend auditioned for like this like movie, like a Universal movie like a year ago, and he just got the call that he got it. It's just like it's like insane. It's just there's no telling when you're gonna know, and people just get way too like hyped up about like this one thing, and it doesn't happen for like a long time. So
well, as the old saying goes, there's no business like show business. And looking back at your time on set, obviously production wrapped up on this for quite a while ago. Now that it's airing on the CW, what will you remember the most about your time on set from this first season?
I probably remember the most just my, good times with cast members like, Luke and Breck and Amy and everything like that. I remember Luke's trailer, he had it on this little patch of grass, and he's an avid golf player, right? So every time I go hang out in his trailer, he would always be playing golf. So I remember I was like, Luke, just give me a, like a club. I'm just gonna hit. I'm not the best golf player, right?
Hey, just give me a club.
Yeah, give me a club. But he's like 6 feet tall, right? So I got this huge club, and it's like this lob wedge, right? And then he throws down these like TP1 balls, which are like great tour balls, right? I love watching golf. I'm not good at playing golf. So he throws out his TP5 balls, and then he hits his 3, and he looks at me. He's like, okay, well let's see what you got. And I was like, okay, let's do it, right? So I of course had to say the Rodney Dangerfield I never sliced line before I hit. So then right when I go back, and it literally just cuts the tree line, and I slice it, and I was like, I was like, and he looks at me, he's like, next time bring your own balls. And I was like, wow, got this. But yeah, that, you know, there's so many times like that where we just had a great time on set. There's actually a lot of times off set that we also just hung out and you know, like at dinner and like stuff like that. We even wrote some of our own scenes to show to the show creator, Jeff, you know, like Jeff told us that we were really kind of like the comedic relief in the show, you know, because there's a lot of scenes later on and before that you know, are really have a lot of levity. So we started kind of writing our own like scenes like here and there. And we showed them to Jeff, and you're like, hey Jeff, look at this. We wrote this scene down, like we wrote, and then he's like, yeah, it's pretty cool. Like let's try it out. And the great thing about Jeff is that he'd always let us try it. So if it sucked, it sucked. But if it wasn't, at least we tried it. So you know, it was just such a good time on set because everyone was so nice. And it felt like you knew all of them for so long. Like, you know, it was just really easy to work on that set.
That's so amazing that you, on a production of that scale, have the opportunity to, as an artist, write something out and then go try it out. That's not something that a lot of people are fortunate enough to be able to go try. That's so unique for someone that's as creative as you are.
No, yeah, that's you have such a good point there because like everything, a lot of these bigger shows are so rigid. It's just like do this, do this, do this, do this. It was so chillax, you know, because like I remember like when we were doing like rehearsals and everything, like Jeff would kind of just be there with his coffee. We used to be chilling. We kind of like, you know, we like hang out for a little bit, talk, like play around, blah, 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 and then we get into our scene and it didn't even feel like work because before that you were just, you know, goofing around with your friends. You're like people that you spent so much time on set with. So that's kind of I think where the openness came from with like the with like writing scenes and everything like that, and especially with Luke. He's such a funny guy that, you know, like he was like, he's like, TRAE, just let me know this pass. He's like, what if Pat does this with Mike? And I was like, that's a good idea. And then we just kind of like, you just add on like both of you know, and then until it just becomes this scene. And it's special, definitely. I don't really know many shows that you can do that on.
Episode 9 of STARGIRL set to debut this coming week. Tensions rise among the JSA as Courtney suggests who she wants to recruit for the next, who she wants to recruit next to the team. STARGIRL Season 1 airing now on the CW. So the news coming in this week that STARGIRL has officially been renewed for Season number 2. Where were you when you got the news, and what are you most looking forward to about getting back to set with the cast other than possibly redeeming yourself on the golf course?
Well, I actually first found out. I found out Jeff Johns, the show creator, called me a few days before the announcement. He's like, "Just so you know, it's looking like it's going in this direction." Blah, blah, blah. And I was so hyped up on the phone. I was like, "Yo, Jeff, this is crazy, dog! Like, it's insane." Because like, you know, it's his show and it's his vision that he wrote when he was like my age. So just like I was more excited for him than anything, for the show getting such a positive response and him being able to do this again, like what he wrote and what he wanted to do. So I was just so hyped about that. And then I didn't know it got officially released until my co-star on set, Cameron Gelman, he actually posted that it got picked up officially. And I was like, that's the first time I really saw it. And I was like, well, I mean, that's it, man. Like that's in the books. Cause like, that's like, once it's announced officially, then that's, you know, that's certain it's going to happen. So I was just really happy that, you know, it was certain that we could actually do it again.
That's when it's the real deal. All right. So before we get moving on, I just wanted to ask you real quick. So we got the guitar back there. We got the skateboard back there. Talk to me about what we got going on back there. Are you an avid skateboarder?
I used to be.
Okay.
I used to skate a lot more than I do now. This sounds really weird, but in quarantine, I found like I'm a writer. I write a lot, and I've just been staying inside, not doing anything lately. But whenever I'm like in LA, all my friends skate. So like I skate all the time in LA. There's a skate park, North Hollywood, I'm pretty sure. That's where we always go. It's just the North Hollywood skate park all the time. Skate. My friend Chin and I, we're just like ripping it up. But here, it's different because Atlanta, it's like, you know, it's almost like it's a lot drier town, I would say. There's not as many personalities here. And like my friends don't skate here. So I'm just like the only schmuck out there skating, you know, it's just kind of, but in the guitar, I've been playing guitar for like 5 years, you know, so I've always played guitar. I was just playing it before I actually got on, but just I always just like fiddle around and stuff like that. But I never really like had any lessons or anything. I kind of just taught myself over the years. I never really like I've learned songs myself from like playing by ear, but I've never like gone out and learned how to play songs or anything like that. I just take different techniques from different people and I just kind of riff around. But yeah, that's kind of what I do. Okay.
You mentioned being on set with Luke Wilson a little bit ago. You've been around some iconic actors for much of your career, playing alongside Beau Bridges in the TV series Robbie. What do you remember from your time on set for that project from Robbie?
Well, Robbie was a really cool project because it was just simply so funny. The concept is just so I don't even know what you could call it. It's just so like blatant that it's funny because like you're looking at this guy Robbie, the older Robbie, and he is literally just a church league basketball coach who works at the Dairy Queen. Like that's such an interesting idea, and they made it so hysterically funny, and they just brought out all that stuff in that in his life to make it like unique and funny. And with me when I was doing my scenes with Beau, I think Beau was just such a great actor just because no matter what, nothing fazed them. He was always just like on the money, every single line. And that almost made me be like, oh God, I got to kind of step up my game because he was like every single time he's a flawless actor, never messed up once. And I had to like keep up with him, and it really did teach me a lot going into other projects because I was a guest star. So I was only like in 2 or 3 episodes, but I remember filming the first episode of the pilot, and then I also came back for the last episode. The last episode, I went into it, I'm like, okay, I'm ready, man. Like, what I'm saying? Like, it was like Rocky in the ring. I was like, I'm ready to like be on his level. You know what I'm saying? So like, it was really just a good experience just being around veteran actors in general. But he was definitely a big influence on just my work ethic, I think.
All right, as we begin to wind down the interview, we got your final 5 questions here. Some real quick ones. Your who, what, when, where, and which. Who do you speak with the most right now?
My writing partner, Patricio, probably. We write scripts together, yeah.
What item do you use the most each day that is not your phone or a computer?
I'd probably say my guitar.
When did you know that you wanted to be in entertainment?
When my family friend was directing a movie in Atlanta and I went to set and I saw what they were doing, that's, I think, probably one.
Where is your dream vacation?
Dream vacation? I'd probably say just New York City, like East Side Manhattan.
And finally, which song is your go-to song for karaoke?
For karaoke? Oh my God, I haven't asked this question. All right, how about that's a good question.
It's a tough one, right?
Tough one, because like I haven't even thought of that.
We pride ourselves on asking the hard-hitting questions around here.
I can tell. No, probably like some like Billy Joel song or something, because his are always like so slow and like you can always sing them and you know what, I think that I can try to replicate his voice more than anyone else, because he just kind of has, I don't want to say he has a one-note voice, but I'm saying I think his songs would be easiest to sing.
Portraying the role of Mike Dugan in the DC superhero show STARGIRL, airing now, is on the CW. TRAE Romano, thank you so much for giving us some of your time today, brother. You did fantastic.
Thanks, man.